Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be reviewing the European football that took place during the week, and there were some fantastic results and games that took place. But I'm going to start on Tuesday night where Villarreal hosted Liverpool. Now of course, going into the game, Liverpool had a 2-goal advantage over Villarreal, and I think a lot of people thought that would be enough and Villarreal would be just not quite strong enough to overcome Liverpool and their defence. But by half-time, the tie was level. Villarreal took the lead within, 3 or 5 minutes? Absolutely fantastic scenes in Spain. And then Coquelin, just before half-time, made it 2-0 to Villarreal. And at that point, it could have been extremely easy for Liverpool to succumb to Villarreal's pressure and the noise of the crowd. But Jurgen Klopp was fantastic during his half-time team talk. They were calm and composed, and that was clearly the case because when Liverpool came out in the second half, they kept the ball for longer, they were far more composed, and then eventually they scored through Fabinho. And even though it was a mistake from the goalkeeper, it was a really good strike from Fabinho. And once Liverpool got that goal, they did then completely change the game in the sense that Villarreal just looked completely drained. And certainly by the end of the match, Villarreal were on their knees and looked absolutely exhausted. But for Liverpool, they kept the pressure up, they kept going, and then eventually they scored a second time and a third time. And in the end, even though Liverpool won 5-2 on aggregate and Villarreal are knocked out, they can be immensely proud of their performance, not just over the 2 games, but over the course of their Champions League run. I mean, considering when Unai Emery took over, Villarreal had never won a trophy, and then they reached the Europa League final and beat Man United on penalties, and then have this phenomenal run in the Champions League where they beat Juventus and Bayern Munich over 2 legs, and then were relatively quite competitive against Liverpool, certainly in the second leg. So Villarreal can be immensely proud of what they've done this season, especially in Europe. As for Liverpool, they reach another Champions League final and they look really strong for it, to be fair. Then, of course, the second Champions League tie, Real Madrid 3, Man City 1. It's been a few days since that game has happened, but I still can't believe Man City are out. I mean, for me, in the second leg, Man City were the better team. They were composed, they were dominant in that sense, and I didn't really believe this or see it until I saw it the next day. The fact that Real Madrid didn't have a shot on target until the 90th minute, and it just shows how dominant Man City were. And for me, Pep Guardiola did all that he could have done in the game, so I don't think a lot of blame can be put on him. It's just one of those moments. I think it's more the fact that Carlo Ancelotti was brave enough to take off Modric, Kroos and Casemiro and make those changes and bring on Camavinga and have Valverde sit in midfield, where they both have a lot of energy to get up and down the pitch. And it worked for Real Madrid. They scored within 2 minutes in the 90th minute. Both goals scored by Rodrigo. Took the game to extra time, and once the game did go to extra time, Real Madrid had all the momentum and Man City looked completely drained, similar to Villarreal against Liverpool. So in the end, Real Madrid go through 6-5 in aggregate, and with Man City, like I said, they did almost everything right in the second leg. I think from their point of view, they'll be looking at the first leg and thinking, what if? Because even though Man City won that game 4-3, they had so many chances and they conceded a couple of really sloppy goals. And I think for me personally, Man City should have had a stronger lead going into the second leg, and I think if they did, it would have been a lot easier for them. Similar in a sense to Frankfurt 1, West Ham 0. Of course, that was the score on the night in the second leg. On aggregate, Frankfurt won 3-1, and it's interesting hearing Declan Rice and David Moyes speak after the match, because they both said that the tie was really lost within the first minute of the first leg when Frankfurt took an early lead, because that completely drained and killed the atmosphere at the London Stadium. And I tend to incline to agree with them, because it was such a shock when Frankfurt took the lead in the first leg. And from there, West Ham were always chasing the game. But nevertheless, they can be immensely proud of their European run and even their form in the Premier League this season. I mean, how many teams go on a run in Europe but then struggle heavily in the league? West Ham haven't done that. West Ham are still, respectfully, I think they're 7th or 8th in the Premier League. They're at least in the top half of the table for the majority of the season, and they've still put in phenomenal performances in Europe, beating the likes of Sevilla and Lyon. So West Ham can be really proud of what they've done in Europe. The red card in the second leg on Cresswell, for me, I don't think it was red card. I think it was really, really soft. I think in a game, if you're going to send someone off early on, it's got to be really clear and cynical. And I don't think it was. I don't think it was enough to bring down the player, personally. For me, it wasn't clear and obvious that it was a red card and a foul. But anyway, West Ham, they held their own. It could have been so easy for them to collapse, but they didn't. And they had a number of chances. Bowen with the free kick just before half-time, Antonio late on. So West Ham, if they just scored on the night and got it to 3-2 on aggregate, they could have just easily nicked in a goal to make it 3-3, similar to Real Madrid, Man City. But it wasn't meant to be for West Ham. They will be immensely proud of what they've done in Europe. And as for Frankfurt, well, amazing for them, given that they've beaten Barcelona and now West Ham over 2 legs. They'll be quietly confident they can win in the final against Rangers. Rangers managed to win 3-1 against RB Leipzig in normal time. So on aggregate, it finished 3-2 to Rangers, and Rangers were brilliant. They've been amazing in this European campaign, given the budget they have and the squad they have, and the fact that Steven Gerrard left halfway through the season. Rangers have been phenomenal. And you think back to the fact that they finished second in their group and they've beaten Dortmund in Germany and then won the tie over 2 legs, and they've now done the same with RB Leipzig. They defended so resolutely in Germany, and to keep it only at 1-0 was kind of almost felt like at least a positive result, given they only conceded 1 goal in Germany. And I think they knew they would at least score at Ibrox, and they did score so early on. And I think it really helped that they scored 2 really early goals to get them ahead in the tie. And I think in that sense, that just built the confidence around Ibrox. But when Nkunku scored, it could have been so easy for Rangers to feel sorry for themselves. But they didn't. They kept pressing. They were aggressive on the front foot. And then Lundstrom scored with 10 minutes to go. And then Rangers won. So phenomenal effort from Rangers. And they will now play Frankfurt in the final. And just on a side note, for my predictions, I said it would be Liverpool, Man City in the final and West Ham, RB Leipzig in the final. So that just shows I basically know nothing about football, doesn't it? So thank you for watching this quick European review of the semi-final legs in the Champions League and Europa League. I cannot wait for the final. It should be really entertaining. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.